Yeah, it's CC, CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a gold builder that can teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on firm, but we ain't all black.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Constance Carter. You know, you guys just be making me so happy how y'all just be coming in here early, waiting on your girl, saying what's up, and what's up. Listen, you know, I already got to do my thing with my phone and all that stuff. Here we go. We're on about 6 or 7 different platforms. Wherever you're watching from, welcome. I want to make sure that you are following all the platforms. And also, you guys, make sure you're sharing this program out, because every time I go live, I always want to share something with you, something that you can use that's going to edify you in some way and help you to stay woke, to mind your black business and mind your black business. Okay. And so I was doing some research and I was watching a video the other day from, what is her name? Wait. Her name is, so listen, let me tell y'all, you guys need to, everybody needs to watch other news other than MSNBC. If you watch Fox News, all the local stuff, you need to watch, BBC, other international news, so you can kind of get a different perspective of what's going on. But I was watching an interview on Al Jazeera with Arikana Chihomboru Cow, and she was talking about USAID. And y'all, I don't know if you know, when I started doing some research about what USAID really was doing and the covert things that they were doing to dismantle and destroy other countries, specifically in Africa and other developing countries, it was very eye-opening. And so I think when Trump dismantled USAID, because they were saying, oh, they were making monkeys transgender and giving them medication, like that wasn't happening. But there was actually some more dark and covert things that were happening to destabilize a lot of these developing countries. And so I want to talk to you about that today. So for decades, the USAID has claimed to be the champion of global development, especially in Africa. But what we now know is that the aid came with strings attached. Now, do you guys know anything about USAID? Have you had any information? Did you get a chance to do any research? Because as we're dismantling and some of the stuff that they're doing is not bad. Like, the IRS, dismantling the IRS, that would be great, right? For those of us who have to pay taxes, that would actually be great. For those of you who think, well, no, that's going to mess up my tax refund. Well, guess what? The tax refund is an overpayment. And so you would not have to be paying that much money out to the federal government, and you wouldn't have to be worried about a tax refund. Anyway, while you come in, I want you to make yourself comfortable, because I just want to unpack this video with, let me say her name again. What is it? Eric, what is it? What is her name? God, I keep forgetting. Arikana Chihomboru Cow. So let me just show you the first video. Oh, and remember, I love to shout you out. Put where you're watching from in the comments. We're going to get right into it because I got a lot to unpack. We got a lot to unpack. I love for you to talk back to me and talk black to me. So make sure that you put in the comments where you're watching from. If you're a black-owned business, I want to shout you out too. So put your information in there so that we can put you up on a screen and other people can actually work with you so that we can make sure that we are practicing collective economics in action, y'all. Okay. So let's look at this first video, because when I seen it, it grabbed my attention. Because, they say they have this picture of, these white people feeding these Africans that are starving in these countries. But what is the real truth of what is really going on over here? So let's see. Let's do this one.
They are using that open access sounding humanitarian to constantly destabilize governments. I can tell you right now, the majority of African leaders, and not just African leaders, but leaders in the developing world, are celebrating the exit of USAID. I was listening to a program, I believe it was CNN, and I was jumping up and down. It was a government official from Hungary. He was echoing the same sentiments. He said they are happy USAID is leaving Hungary because they are always supporting opposition. Their form of government advocacy is supporting whoever can keep the government in a turmoil.
Yep. So what they were doing is they were manipulating elections. They installed leaders who sold out their own people, and they called it democracy. Y'all, that's not aid. That's neo-colonial warfare is what they've been doing with the mask of U.S. aid. And they were doing it under the guise of, oh, we're helping feeding the Africans. We're feeding the African babies. We're doing all these great things in with humanitarian efforts. But let me just tell you, USAID has done some pretty sinister things. Look, I got a whole list. In 2014, it was USAID was exposed because they secretly created a fake social media platform called, this is in Cuba, called Zanzunio, aimed at inciting unrest and anti-government sentiment amongst young Cubans. The goal was to trigger a political uprising without anyone knowing that the U.S. was behind it. Yeah, USAID did that in Cuba. Okay. The other thing that they did in Venezuela, y'all, is they used their humanitarian aid as a Trojan horse. So, and this is all recent. So in 2019, during political tensions in Venezuela, USAID tried to deliver aid to the opposition party led by Juan Guaido. The Maduro government and international watchdogs accused USAID of using aid shipment to smuggle weapons and provoke a regime change. The Red Cross and the UN refused to participate. Venezuela said it was a political stunt, and the aid was never about food. It was about foreign influence. All right. Here's what they did in Bolivia. In Bolivia, they funded the political opposition. So in the early 2000s, USAID funneled millions into opposition groups and media outlets in Bolivia, especially under Evo Morales, a leftist indigenous president who challenged U.S. economic control. The U.S. ambassador was eventually kicked out. Bolivia accused USAID of undermining democracy. Morales later expelled USAID from the country altogether. Okay. Number four, the fourth things they did is in Ukraine is USAID was used for political engineering. So even before the 2014 Maidan Revolution, USAID was actively funding NGO and civil society groups in Ukraine that align with pro-Western ideas. Some analysts believe USAID helped shape the environment that led to Ukraine's political realignment and the subsequent crisis with Russia. This is USAID. These are the ones you see. If you Google USAID right now, you'll see pictures of them feeding the little African babies, snot running down their nose. They starving. That's the picture you'll see, but this is actually what they were doing. And in Haiti, USAID has a heavy hand in Haiti's agriculture and development policies, often in ways that benefit U.S. corporations more than Haitian farmers. They encourage the import of cheap U.S. rice, destroying Haitian rice farming. They back sweatshops. USAID, they back sweatshops. Industries over sustainable economic development, and they funded rebuilding efforts after the 2010 earthquake. But most money went to the contractors in the U.S. and not to the people of Haiti. This is what USAID did, y'all. Scandalous, right? In the name of aid, that they were aiding people, the little Africans all over the internet, but this is what they were secretly doing. So let's do a little bit more history on what she said about USAID, what it was doing in their country.
Why does Africa need them? Why do we need them? Africa has been the provider. If you look at Europe, Europe cannot survive without Africa. One situation that people don't realize, post-World War, when the US came up with the Marshall Plan, what they don't tell you is that the contribution through exploitation of African minerals was actually the biggest funder of the European Recovery Plan, ERP, aka the Marshall Plan. US contributed $13 billion, which is now present day $175 billion, which, by the way, the American taxpayer must be paid back. Nobody's asking for that money back. But what they don't tell you is that Africa, through exploitation, of its resources by the Europeans was actually a much, much bigger contribution to the European recovery post-World War II. Nobody talks about that. Why does such a continent that did so much to help Europe recover continue to be so poor? Let's be realistic here. Let's not talk about peanuts. Africa does not need the aid. What we need is for those who are exploiting Africa to stop. Africa has everything it needs. If Africa could have contributed as much as it did to the recovery of Europe post-World War II, why wasn't Africa equally developed?
So you mean to tell me that Europe was basically destroyed after World War II? It was Africa and its resources that helped rebuild Europe, but Africa is destitute and they need their peanuts from USAID and all of these other organizations from around the world that are helping them with their millions of dollars when they have trillions of dollars of natural resources that are being pillaged from Africa. And USAID under the guise, yes, James Oliver, under the guise of helping them and helping their land, but really what they're doing is they're controlling the government. It's deep when you uncover it. And so Donald Trump, in their effort, and that's one thing I can say that they did get right, because in their effort to dismantle a lot of these government entities, there were actually some government entities, and I'm sure there's more than what we see, that have been doing harm all over the world to keep America as a superpower. Now, America being a superpower is not a bad thing because we have the protection. Our military, they spend more money on military than anything else, right? That's our protection. I don't believe the next war is going to be, with arms. I believe it's going to be a cyber attack that's going to end up bringing us down, because there's such a reliance on, the cyber community, and the military can't. So that's where they need to be putting the money. But they're doing that to keep their power, their political power in every which way. So number one, they could steal the resources, they could pillage the land, and then they could keep Black people oppressed all around the world. They talk about how they've created schools and hospitals, and they're putting all these things in these places to help these people. But here's what she said. Where's the change in the healthcare?
Major meddling agenda. The majority of some of the workers, now the average USAID worker may not realize it, but quite a few of them are also operatives who are underground, and their major agenda is to destabilize governments, destabilize countries. If you think about it, their sole purpose, for example, filling in the gaps in healthcare and education. Where is the change? Show me one country that USAID was in and education improved. Show me what country where USAID was in and healthcare improved. The social services they're bringing, it's peanuts. The American taxpayer needs to know the billions of dollars that are being given to USAID, a fraction is making it to the people. Let's look at what HIV/AIDS was used to do. We know of a program that was run out of South Africa where they actually were injecting people with the virus. The reason some of the AIDS virus spread as rapidly as it did in Southern Africa, there were some very dirty games being played on African people. They were using Africans as guinea pigs for experimental activities. Even when you look at every aspect, they're using us as guinea pigs. Yes, there is some good, a percentage of some good, but not all of it is done with good intentions. You look at agriculture, they're destroying African agriculture by introducing those GMOs. You plant your seed in one season, your soil is finished. We used to have seeds that we can use from one season to the other. The introduction of GMOs through these agencies, USAID is one of them. We are destroying Africa in a massive way. A little good is coming out, but by and large, the end result, they mean no good. They can turn around and give us an inventory and say, as long as you have been in Africa and also other parts of the world, show us your success rate. You claim you are helping governments with education and healthcare. Show us your success rate. But I also turn around and say, African governments, why do you need this little aid to assist you in providing proper healthcare, proper education? The average African government can afford to provide those services for their people.
I want you to put a pin in that right there. I don't know if you heard her earlier when she said USAID, what they were, did you guys hear what they said USAID was doing in South Africa? They were injecting people with AIDS in their guise to help reduce the AIDS rate. They were actually giving people AIDS. They were using Africans, as they've done here with the things like, if you've ever read the book Medical Apartheid, they've used us as guinea pigs throughout the history of this country. So they were injecting them with AIDS under the guise of aiding them. She says, show me what you've done. You're putting all of these resources in here. Well, show us the improvements in health. Why are we still destitute? Most of the money that they raise for USAID does not even go to the places that it's supposed to go. You mean to tell me that you have access to the most remote villages, the most remote places in Africa, and we don't have access to them, but you have access to them? No, what they're going out and they're practicing population control is what USAID is doing. So what I really believe is, I don't believe that Trump and Elon dismantled this because of that, because they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about Africa. He's been very clear. In fact, let's see. This is what
President Trump is not known to care much about Africa. He has talked about it in very derogatory language. His comments about USAID have had nothing to do with Africa. They've had to do with downsizing the scale of government and the perception of corruption and policies that are not consistent with his own. He's not. See,
so Trump don't give a damn about Africa and the health of Africa. So them dismantling, don't get it twisted. And they're very clear. And the interviewer was not leaning one way or the other. He was asking very unbiased questions, but he was basically saying, look, President Trump has been clear that he don't care about Africa. But what do you think? Do you want, I'll let you finish. I'll let you watch the whole thing.
President Trump is not known to care much about Africa. He has talked about it in very derogatory language. His comments about USAID have had nothing to do with Africa. They've had to do with downsizing the scale of government and the perception of corruption and policies that are not consistent with his own. He's not framed any of this in terms of African needs or whatnot. So when you think about that, what do you think is the possibility of changing the dynamics of the relationship between the Trump administration and African leaders when it doesn't seem to be on his radar screen?
To be honest with you, why should African leaders care? Why should Trump care about Africa? He shouldn't care about Africa, to the same extent that the African leaders really shouldn't care about a relationship either. If the relationship can be worked out, that's wonderful. But if President Trump is saying, I have a mandate from my own people to take care of my people, and I'm doing what I need to do to take care of my people, African leaders need to take that same position. You see, it takes two to tango. If President Trump does not want a relationship with Africa, Africans shouldn't be begging for it. Are you with me?
Basically, she's saying, listen, we don't care that Trump doesn't care about Africa. Get the hell out of Africa. And so that's essentially what's happened in this portion, not in every portion, but you do see. So if you don't know anything about Dr. Arikana Chimbori Cow, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she's a medical doctor. She actually went to Fisk University, HBCU, and she is an activist. She speaks all over the place, and she has a lot of insight and knowledge, and I've seen a lot of interviews with her, but she's all about what she's trying to do, what she's been trying to do, what her life's work has been, because I believe she was at the Power Networking Conference a few years ago. But what her life's work has been about uniting the entire continent of Africa, so Africa could speak mostly as one voice, so that they could become and walk in the superpower that they are. But somebody said in the comments, I think you said, well, what are the African officials? What are they doing? What are they doing about it? I think oh, that's what you said. I saw this interview, Peace in the World. I agree with her, but will African countries stand up or still bow down to the superpower? And that's a good question, because that's what she's saying. She's saying, hey, listen, some of the African leaders have already stepped up. Before USAID was there, they've already been doing things inside for their what was that comment about Elon Musk? Muskrat cares about Africa for the minerals in the Congo and the like. U.S. presence will not. Oh, it's nobody's saying that they're going to leave. No, we're saying USAID leaving was great because it uncovered a lot of things as what Africa was. I mean, excuse me, what USAID was really doing. But what she was saying was there are other African countries that have already been doing the same. They've already kicked out other countries from being able to obtain some of the resources. Look at this one right here.
Let me tell you, we need to look at what's happening in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. President Traore is standing up. He is saying the natural resources in Burkina Faso, they belong to the people of Burkina Faso. Niger is doing the same thing. Mali is doing the same thing. Every leader must look at what's happening in the Sahel nations to say, like anybody else, you must take care of your people. You have your natural resources. You have everything you need to take care of your people. Why do you continue to be beggars? Look at what is being brought in by not only USAID, but all the NGOs in your country. It's peanuts. It's a joke that the African leaders should continue to be beggars of peanuts when you are looking and allowing billions to get out of your country year in and year out, if not trillions, in natural resources that your people should be benefiting from. It is a wake-up call for African leaders to wake up and say, President Trump is saying, US first, America first. You too must say, your country first, because you have everything it takes. It is a joke. It is embarrassing to see I have not seen any African leader cry over USAID leaving. I can tell you for a fact, the average African leader privately is celebrating the exit of USAID because they know what is really going on.
So you picking up what I'm putting down? Somebody in Net 7 Collective, one of the ladies in Net 7 Collective, and this is common what they're doing. So you see what she said. They're taking their natural resource, they're paying them pennies, but they're going out and selling it for hundreds of dollars. They're making billions and billions of dollars, and they're giving. So they was making what, 300 billion. They made $1 billion from their own resources. So there was a lady in Net 7. She had some land that had some minerals on it. Her great grandfather owned it, couldn't read. So he signed it over to some company, like 100-year contract or something like that. Couldn't read, couldn't write. The signature that they showed her, the signature of the contract that they had was an X because he didn't understand the contract. So their family has been splitting pennies while this conglomerate, and I forget which company what is, and I wouldn't mention it if I knew it, is making millions and millions of dollars off of her great grandparents' land. This happens all over the place. He who has the knowledge has the power. And that's essentially what a lot of these countries are doing, this neo-colonization that they're doing inside of Africa. And everybody has their hands in Africa's resources. But then when you look at the landscape of the country, there are some really beautiful countries, and I haven't been, but I've seen really beautiful places, a lot of wealth, but there's also a lot of poverty. And the poverty is in the places where they're pillaging the land and they're taking their natural resources. And it's mostly from Western countries like the United States, Europe. So she said that after the Second World War, they used Africa's resources to rebuild Europe. And look at the state. You mean to tell me we can rebuild Europe, but Africa is still in this, and this is the whole continent of Africa. We know Africa is not one country, but the whole continent of Africa is still not as advanced as it should be with all the resources it has, uranium and gold and diamonds and all the things that are in Africa. Africa is one of the richest places on earth. Everybody knows that, but the people in Africa live the poorest. And I'm not saying all people in Africa live poor, but they have some of the poorest people on earth. And it's mostly from their land being pillaged. So I just found it interesting in looking at this interview. I think definitely look at, if you have an opportunity to look at the entire interview, I actually looked at it twice because I was blown away about what she was saying about, how they were going in disguise. So it's just like somebody said, well, no, I know that USAID was doing some great things at Johns Hopkins. Where'd they say that? They were funding many, that one right there. There was funding many grants at Johns Hopkins and many institutions that relied on that funding, and they were doing very good things. But at the same time, just because they were doing some good things as the face, there was a lot of sinister things going on behind the scenes. And it's not in just Africa, but other developing countries. She also said in, I think, Hungary, they were doing some really savage things. And then in the beginning, I mentioned other countries, and I'll mention them to you again. Other countries that they went over there and did some crazy stuff. In Cuba, they did a fake Twitter plot. They in 2014, it was exposed that USAID secretly created a fake social media platform called Zunzunio, aimed at inciting unrest and anti-government sentiment amongst young Cubans. In Venezuela, during 2019, during political tension, USAID tried to deliver aid to the opposition party led by Juan Guaidó. And they accused USAID of using aid shipments to smuggle weapons to the opposition. That's what they did in Venezuela. And then they talk about all of the criminals. You see that now. The narrative is that all the criminals are coming over from Venezuela. Okay. In Bolivia, they funded the political opposition. They funneled millions of dollars into political opposition groups and media outlets in Bolivia for Evo Morales, a leftist indigenous president who challenged U.S. economic control. In Ukraine, before 2014, USAID was actively funding NGO and civil society groups in Ukraine that align with pro-Western ideals. And then in Haiti, they were heavy-handed in Haiti's agriculture and development policies. So they encouraged import of cheap U.S. rice, and they destroyed Haitian rice farming. They backed sweatshops over sustainable economic development, and they funded rebuilding efforts after the 2010 earthquake. However, most of the money did not reach the people of Haiti. It's diabolical, y'all. That is diabolical. So when we talk about America first, she's like, yeah, hell yeah. You saw in that last video, she's like, yeah, hell yeah. If Trump makes America first, yeah, then we should be doing the same thing. I'm not mad. She's like, I'm not mad at Trump for putting America first. He should be taking care of his people, just like Africans should be taking care of their people.
I think this is a wake-up call for the African leaders. To the same extent that President Trump is saying USA first, African leaders must also say Africa first. This is a wake-up call to the African leaders to take inventory of what is really happening in their countries. Do they really need the peanuts that are coming in as aid? What is really going out? If I may use the example of what happened in Niger, when the government decided they were going to take over the mining of their uranium. The French companies that were mining the uranium were paying the government 80 cents a kilo for the uranium, and then turning around and selling the uranium to the rest of the world at 200 euros a kilo. So that one move from the Nigerian government to say we are now going to take ownership of our own uranium, they went from realizing about $1 billion in uranium resources to over 300 billion a year. Do you realize what I'm talking about? No amount of NGO could bring that kind of money. And this is only one mineral. Now imagine the country taking inventory of all their minerals and benefiting from their natural resources like the rest of the countries in the Western world. That is what African leaders need to look at.
Diabolical. They're taking their uranium, selling it back to them or giving them 80 cents per kilo, and then selling it for 200 euros. So you come to my house, again, just like I was mentioning about the lady in Net 7, how it was her land, but I'm gonna give you it was like less than a penny, but I'm gonna make millions and millions of dollars from the resources from your land. Yeah. So somebody said, somebody who worked for USAID, who was that? Full disclosure, sis, I'm one of those. Oh, it was peace in the world. Okay. I'm one of those USA employees that were let go. I can't mention my role, but let's just say all mission support was not dirty. Yeah. I understand. And I said they said they do a little bit of good so they could cover up a lot of the bad. And I don't know what the percentage of good over bad is. She said most of the people who work there, most of the employees don't even realize, or they don't even know what the greater majority of the bad that they're doing. And when you talk about Haiti, if you know the history of Haiti, the United States, well, France made sure that Haiti suffered and paid for the Haitian Revolution that happened back in the 1700s. I don't know if you guys know anything about the Haitian Revolution, but Haiti, they kept importing Africans and importing more Africans, and they just got greedy because there was no limit on the amount of Africans that they could import to Haiti. And they ended up importing so many Africans that the Africans went to war. And it looks like the tribes that they got were tribes of warriors, and they overthrew the French government. And when they overthrew the French government, in order for so France said, well, all the money that we lost during slavery, because Haiti was powerful in a lot of resources too. I don't know if you know. But they had a lot of resources, and the French government said, in order for you to pay us back for the money that we lost in the slave trade, and that's actually the early 1800s, you got to pay us so much money. And so Haiti has essentially been destabilized. Now, what I heard, Pat Roberts, I don't know if you know that white dude from the 700 Club. My daddy used to listen to him. He used to watch his dumb ass. This man said that the Haitians made a deal with the devil. That's how they were able to overthrow. These are the kind of people who are in office right now. These Haitians, because there's no way that they could overthrow these powerful white people. So they had to have made a deal. This is somebody who's supposed to be credible, that's teaching biblical principles, said that the Haitians made a deal with the devil, overthrew the government. And the reason why Haiti is in, and I've heard actually, they said Shawnee's husband repeated that because Jessica Wu was mad at him. And Black preachers actually repeating this dumbass rhetoric about, the reason why Haiti is in such shambles is because of voodoo or, all of these things. It's cursed. No, the reason why it's in shambles is because of the US's hand and France's hand in making sure that Haiti has been destabilized for years. And a lot of these corporations, as in Citi and a few other corporations, also have a hand in ensuring that Haiti is destabilized. So just like I mentioned with USAID, how all that money was supposed to be going to Haiti after that huge earthquake that killed hundreds of thousands of people, most of it didn't go to Haiti. Where's the money? Where's the taxpayer money that was supposed to go to aiding these people? It didn't go to them. And that's what a lot of these federal organizations do, is they will collect this money and it will go nowhere. So yeah, they're definitely, what Doge is doing, there definitely needs to be some checks and balances. Okay. And you can't have the police themselves. At what point were all these organizations going to get checked? Were they going to get checked at any point? I don't know. So what Elon Musk and Doge is doing is outlandish in the way that they're doing it. But I do see in some instances, IRS, well, that ain't Doge, but Trump talking about getting rid of IRS. That's awesome. I hope they do. I hope he's successful in getting rid of the IRS. He's gambling his legacy on these tariffs because that's supposed to be taking place of the IRS. And if it does, God bless him, because I don't want to be paying the IRS. So if he's able to get rid of the IRS, I want him to win. I'm not that person that wants him to lose at all costs, especially if it benefits me. We ain't like them people that will cut off our nose to spite our face because it helps somebody else. I seen a meme that they somewhere that they said these, especially these people over in these mountain folks over in West Virginia and Montana will vote against their own best interest if they think Black people gonna be able to benefit from it. That ain't me. I ain't gonna never vote against my own best interest because somebody else benefits from it. I'm gonna look at me first, like y'all need to be doing, looking at B1 and not B2. We need to always be looking for ourselves first. Okay. Karen K said, I believe that the Haitians are the tribe of Levi. Scriptures speak on their witchcraft. Oh, is that right? How do you know that they're the tribe of Levi? That's interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I don't believe any of that shit that them people say are talking about our people are of witchcraft, and so basically, essentially, it's saying that we deserve it. Let me tell you. Let me show you. That was right on time because I do want to show you how she said black people were brainwashed. Watch this.
If you go back to colonization, if you go back to the Christianity and how it was introduced, how we were trained to be subservient. In Africa, the rules of the game were the same. I think that what was done to brainwash black people around the world, long before they even left Africa, we are still suffering from that legacy of colonization, the legacy of slavery, where the people in power, they themselves don't believe they can do it. We still have leaders who believe you can't make it unless you're working with white people. We have individuals who think only something brought in by white people is what's likely to succeed. With that kind of mentality, it is a very difficult battle. Our battle to succeed, to unite as the African continent, it is a battle of the mind.
A battle of the mind. We have been taught that if it ain't white, it ain't right. Yeah. So when you think about that, that's what we've been taught. And that has been taught across the world. If it ain't white, it ain't right. We've been brainwashed to believe that Western medicine is better, that Western education is superior, that Western leadership is more advanced. But in actuality, y'all, the truth is Africa built the blueprint. Africa saved Europe after World War II. Africa was and still is the heartbeat of global wealth. Africa doesn't need saviors. Africa needs sovereignty. They need to get out of Africa is what they need to do. And so I don't subscribe to all that brainwashing bullshit that has been taught by Western society about black people being of witchcraft and black people being evil. I do believe that we've been bamboozled, we've been hoodwinked, we've been run amok, like the great Malcolm X said. We have been 400 years of brainwashing, and we believe shit like that the Haitians are cursed because they come from a tribe of Levi, and which practices witchcraft because it doesn't align with your Eurocentric beliefs that you've been taught. We got to start thinking for ourselves, y'all, because listen, we have access to everything in the world. We have access to all the information. We aren't. Do you remember when they said if you want to keep something from black people, put it in a book? That's because we couldn't read. That's because they didn't let us read. Because if we read, then we would have knowledge of self, of who we really are. But if we keep believing the shit that they tell us, we're going to always be oppressed. So I would never buy into anybody saying anything about black people being of witchcraft, of black people being evil, of black people being anything other than children of God. I believe that we are children of God and the Most High. So I don't buy in to or subscribe about black people being a tribe of witchcraft. I don't believe it. Really quick, while I got your attention, I want to tell you about the Grow Your Money Club, because the reason why I come live to you every single day is because I really want to inspire you to grow your money, to build wealth. That's why I come here. That's why I talk to you about this every single day, is I'm trying to talk to you and give you some nuggets that you could chew on. I don't want you to just be mad at white people. Okay. I don't want you to, because I want you to do like them. And I want you to think about yourself, your community, your family first. That's what I want you to do. But the way you do that is you get educated, you broaden your horizons. I'm glad that you're listening to me, and I'm glad that you're listening to people who are able to pour into you and listening to different perspectives and opinions, and don't just listen to one thing all the time. Don't just listen to what agrees with your agenda all the time. Explore, test the spirit, by the spirit. But the reason why I do this is because I just want to educate people, especially our people, so that we can have knowledge, so that we can build and we can build wealth. They said in 2017 that our median wealth was going to be a zero while theirs climbed. Well, we see in these instances why their wealth has climbed. It's not by equal being fair. When you have, slavery and all these other things, and you have a system that was designed that was uneven, right? I mentioned before how I seen something where somebody said they saw an interview with Jesse Jackson, and Jesse Jackson was doing an interview with someone, and they said, well, black people are superior in sports. How come they don't have that same superiority, or how come they can't compete that well in America or in life? And rather than talking about the oppressive nature of the oppressor, what he said is, in sports is the only place that we have where we know the rules of the game, where everybody knows the rules of the game. And when everybody has equal access to the rules of the game, we see who rises to the occasion. It's us. So that's why I do things like this, come live, and I have the Grow Your Money Club, which will help you to really get more information so that you can build wealth. Have you joined the Grow Your Money Club yet? If not, why not? The Grow Your Money Club is a comprehensive program designed to take you through the complete wealth building journey. We don't just offer random courses, we guide you along a clear path, starting with fixing your credit and becoming a certified credit expert, to building your business, increasing your cash flow, diversifying your portfolio, and ultimately letting your money work for you. With over 30 trainings designed to increase your net worth, you get to either purchase the trainings individually or go through the 12-month roadmap. Here are just a few of the courses. From campus to cash flows, this is teaching your children to become real estate investors. The Wealth Map training shows you how to eliminate your debt, increase your credit, and diversify your revenue streams. You can learn to write your book using ChatGPT. Learn how to build your online community. What about 8 ways to make money using AI? Oh, and here's 7 online revenue streams to fund your $1 million dream. How about learning how to purchase tax deeds or land banks? What about getting started in government contracting? If you're a rookie, the Real Estate for Rookies training has everything you need. The Business Blueprint training will help you build your business foundation, get business credit, get business funding, and learn how to pay yourself so that you can scale your business to the next level. Or perhaps you want to create jaw-dropping video content using CapCut, Midjourney, and ChatGPT. There are so many trainings and master classes within the Grow Your Money Club, and I also drop 1 new training per month. You do not want to miss out on this opportunity to invest in yourself, because guess what? You are your biggest commodity. You are your biggest investment. Join the Grow Your Money Club today. So y'all, everything that I do, everything that I learn, I try to give and share in one way or another. And that's the reason why I have the Grow Your Money Club. That's the reason why I come here live every day, is because as I learn things and I develop, and I'm developing my mind and I'm learning more and more things, I want you to be able to do the same thing. The access that I have. And I like to have conversations. I love for you to talk back to me and talk back to me. I like to read your comments on the screen. I even like when y'all talk shit to me. I don't care. I ain't scared. But I love the engagement that you guys give me. And that's why you guys give me the motivation to come back every day and do this every day when you engage. So go to growyourmoney.club. Somebody said, ask who, where you can find that interview. Go to Al Jazeera, search for Al Jazeera. And here is her name. Dr. Arikana Chiobori Kao. I don't know how to say it, but search for the interview on Al Jazeera, because it was a great interview. It was about 20 minutes long. And I watched it twice because I got so much information out of it. And, I'm just giving you snippets of things that I picked up. But it's a real game. And that's the reason why, as we see them fighting and we see Elon Musk y'all see, I don't know, did you guys see Elon Musk, his days are numbered with the federal government because he's losing. The man is crying, they're crying because Tesla is losing their money and I can't get rid of my damn Tesla. I hate it. Y'all, this lady went to a concert on Friday. This white lady drove by me. She said, I like your car. I don't care who made it. I said, well, all right. I don't like this garbage because it's literally like plastic. You pay all this money for this plastic piece of shit that's driving on the road. Anyway, I digress. With everything that's going on, like I said, it's important that we mind our Black business, and I got these shirts available too. If you go to conversationtees.com, for the next 4 years, I said we're going to be minding our Black business, and we minding our Black business. You know what that means? We're going to mind our business because we know they ain't thinking about us, and they're trying to destroy us. They're trying to whitewash history. They're trying to take all of this stuff away from us. But as we continue, as they're doing this, it's a wake-up call for us to be minding our Black business, but also minding our businesses. That's the reason why in the beginning here, I always want to shout out Black-owned businesses, and I want to just put you out there so that people could understand what it is that you do, and that we can practice collective economics, and that we can work together and we can grow together, because I really don't believe the narrative that our wealth is going to be a zero in the year 2053. I don't believe that. So let me just show you one more video from her where she's talking about is that where she said, oh no, she said Black people were brainwashed.
But let me underscore this. The average African leader and leaders of majority of leaders of developing world, I can tell you, they are celebrating the exit of USAID, and we hope that there will be exits of many other NGOs that are carrying out nefarious activities in Africa and anywhere else in the developing world in order to further the agendas of their governments, which is to continuously destabilize, divide, and conquer.
So many African leaders, they are celebrating the exit of USAID. So I don't believe that Trump dismantling USAID was intentional, like he was doing it to help them. Absolutely not. Any way he could continue to oppress Black people, trust me, he is not going to do anything that's going to lift them up. But what it did is uncovered a lot of what was really going on. And so for Peace in the World, say, hey, I worked there. We did a lot of good. I believe it. You guys did do some good, but you guys were doing a lot of harm. Look at what you did to all those countries. And that was just 4 or 5 countries that I named. But there were many more countries that they went in under the guise of helping when they were really destabilizing. But I really, really, really love what she said. I just want to look at that one again. Which one? Oh, I like what she said about Black people being brainwashed.
If you go back to colonization, if you go back to the Christianity and how it was introduced, how we were trained to be subservient, in Africa, the rules of the game were the same. I think that what was done to brainwash Black people around the world, long before they even left Africa, we are still suffering from that legacy of colonization, the legacy of slavery, where the people in power, they themselves don't believe they can do it. We still have leaders who believe you can't make it unless you're working with white people. We have individuals who think only something brought in by white people is what's likely to succeed. With that kind of mentality, it is a very difficult battle. Our battle to succeed, to unite as the African continent, it is a battle of the mind.
That's what I really want you to understand. That's what I wanted to underscore. The battle that we have, just like the Bible says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principality and high places and all those things. The battle that we have that's going on in America in life is a battle of the mind. The battle of if we can do it. The battle is if we are worthy enough. The battle is if we have the wherewithal or the motivation or anything in us to make us want to do it. That's where the battle really lies. So the question for you is, do you have the wherewithal? Do you have the belief in yourself that you deserve to have everything that this world has to offer? Do you have the belief that you deserve anything that you want? Because I know Black people, we got more belief than anybody, y'all. We got self-esteem like a mug. We the cleanest. Ain't nobody dope as us because we so fresh and so clean. We are it. We are the shit. But do we think we deserve abundance? Do we deserve happiness? Do we deserve greatness? Do we deserve to build businesses and build communities? We've been beat down so long. When the question was asked, why are Black people in such turmoil? You got to think about it. We've been oppressed longer than we were free. And so when they say, hey, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, listen, we don't even got the straps. They got the boots. They got the advancements. We don't even got the boots. But here we are now. Outside of that oppression, we still have post-traumatic slave syndrome, right? Joy DeGruy talks about in her book that I read it. We still have that. It's still in our DNA, not really understanding that we deserve things, not really wanting to start businesses or, because we haven't seen people who are in positions of power that look like us. We don't aspire to be those things. But I'm here to tell you today that you can have all of that stuff. You can be an entrepreneur. You can make your own. You don't have to depend on the government. The Bible says you should have 7 to 8 revenue streams in case a disaster strikes the land. We don't need to be sitting down here. Listen, one time I was talking to this guy I met him on a dating app, right? And he was talking about he was on workman's comp. He's on workman's comp for like 5 years. And I was like, okay. We got off that phone real quick, but I was like, so what have you done in the last 5 years? You start a business, you do whatever? He was like, no, I just, I've been, doing stuff around the house. And for me, it was just like, that was a red flag. Like, you had all this time, you're getting this free money and you've been chilling. What are you doing with the information that you got? I never talked to him again because he was on workman's comp and he ain't do nothing with his life. But for you, what time is wasting? What time is passing you by? And what opportunities have you not taken advantage of by just letting the time go by? Okay. So I'm here to encourage you all. That's the reason why I have the trainings that I have. That's the reason why I do the things that I do. I'm getting ready to start a new cohort where I'm helping entrepreneurs and speakers to be able to go out there and kill it. Entrepreneurs to be able to articulate the value of their brand, of their company. Because a lot of times people don't know, aren't able to sell themselves because they don't have the confidence, because they don't know how to articulate their brand. That's the things that I'm showing people how to do. See, what I do is I listen to people. I think I told you, if you've heard me before, I'm not the big ideation person, but I am an executor, right? So I'm an executor. And so what I do is I listen to what people have to say. Everything that I've done has been under the guise. You see them books up there? I never thought I was going to be an author, but I wrote them because somebody said, hey, you should write a book. Even this book right here, Unbreakable, with that we wrote with the Net 7 Collective. That book right there, somebody in the cohort said, Constance, we should write an anthology. Done. That anthology, we had it within a month. Some people have been trying to write a book for 20 years inside my cohort. And we did that within a month of somebody suggesting that. Had it edited, published, distributed, and everything. We just had a whole a book signing last week, right? So for me, I just look at what it is that people need. So that's why I do the Grow Your Money Club. People, and I've been able to do some pretty amazing things. I built a very successful real estate company, built the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California. I've invested in stock and marijuana and have purchased properties, commercial, Airbnbs, done all those things. So those are the things that I show other people how to do. So what I do is I listen. I listen to what you need. I was telling you guys a few weeks ago, hey, you need to do a living trust. Make sure you protect your assets. So then what did I do? Well, let me make it easier for them. I created an ebook so that you guys could make your own living trust and don't have to pay an attorney thousands of dollars. You can go to makemylivingtrust.com right now, pick up this ebook and learn how to do your own living trust so that your kids don't got to be fighting with each other when you die. Now you got a whole living trust. You ain't even got to worry about it. Your piece is protected. The reason why you don't do it is because, number one, you don't know how to do it. You don't have the resources to do it. I got an ebook, $20. Hundreds of people have already bought it. People are doing their own living trust and their assets are protected. I just listen to y'all. What is it that you need that I think I know how to do? How can I help you do it? So that's what I do. Everything in the Grow Your Money Club is something that I know that you need, that I've been able to accomplish. I just want to give to you. That's why I have the Grow Your Money Club. Okay. Look, Booker, trust got it. Trust is done. Have you recorded it yet, Booker? Time to record it. And in there, in that living trust book, there is places that shows you where you can go and record your living trust. I do this for y'all. I ain't getting rich off of this shit, but this is for you all so that you can be protected Black people as we grow and build our wealth. Then we need to make sure that our wealth is protected and we pass it. Because the problem is, for our community, wealth doesn't last more than one generation. You see them Rockefellers, their wealth, they have that generational dynasty wealth. We don't have dynasty wealth. So if we do have wealth, it gets lost in the second generation. But if you protect your assets, you get life insurance, you have a living trust, your wealth is properly passed to your heirs. But I just want to show you how to create your businesses, to be able to articulate them, to be able to speak. I speak on panels. I do all those things. So I have an upcoming cohort that's going to be happening early next month, 6 weeks in depth, hands-on with me, where you work directly with me so I can help you to monetize your voice. I don't know if you know, I did a TED Talk that had over 440,000 views. Struggling to grow your business? The problem isn't your product, it's your message. If you're not attracting clients, closing deals, or standing out in your industry, it's because your message is not clear and you're not showing up where your ideal clients are. That's why I created Monetize Your Message. It's a 6-week training where I teach you how to clarify your message so it speaks directly to your ideal audience, master a 30-second pitch that grabs attention, develop a 3-minute story that builds trust and converts. When you master your message, you don't just get paid to speak, you attract clients, you build partnerships, and you create opportunities that grow your business. You're going to learn how to stand out on panels and showcase your expertise, launch a podcast that positions you as the go-to authority. You're going to learn how to build an ecosystem that turns conversations into clients and income. By the end of this training, you'll not only know how to speak with confidence, you'll know how to use your message to build a thriving, profitable business. So if you're ready to attract high-paying clients, grow your business, and build a platform that pays, join me for Monetize Your Message. So I'm doing this for you to help you in some way. If you want to grow your brand, grow your business, grow your speaking business, whatever it is that you want to do, I have the monetize my message.biz. Go there, sign up, work with me directly in an immersive training. I just came off a 1-day boot camp to bring your idea to life, to help you take your idea from ideation to manifestation to monetization. And so that's the next level for the people who took their idea and they brought it to life. Now we got to put the idea out there. So if you want to do a podcast or whatever it is you want to do, we do that inside that 6-week cohort. So I am excited. If you want to work with me, I'm excited to work with you. So all the people who want to work with me, I'm here to work with you too, boo. So let me tell you something. There's a whole effort to destroy Black wealth in this country. It's been going on for centuries. It's been going on since the inception of this country. And so they try to paint us as the welfare queens and the welfare kings, and that we're the ones that's sucking the resources from this country when we pay for it. But listen, I do my research. I know what it is that I'm talking about, and I stand on business with the things that I say. And so I created this video that I just want to share with you, a little Black history about who the real benefactors are of the welfare system. Watch this.
Let's talk about who really benefited from welfare in America, because for decades, they made us the face of welfare. But the truth is, white America has been the biggest benefactor of government handouts since the inception of this country. And today, we're going to set the record straight. The original welfare program was America. This country was built on free Black labor. For over 200 years, white wealth was accumulated off the backs of enslaved Africans, people who were never paid, never compensated, and never made whole. While we were working for free, white slave owners were passing down land, businesses, and wealth for generations. And after slavery ended, guess who got the payouts? Not us, them. In DC alone, slave owners received up to $300 per free slave for their lost property. That's reparations for the oppressors. Number 2, the Homestead Act of free land, but not for us. In 1862, the government gave away 270 million acres of land for free. That land went to over 1.6 million white families. It was a generational wealth seed planted by the federal government, but Black folks were yet excluded again. You needed access, resources, and protection to claim that land, and we weren't given any of that. Meanwhile, we're out here trying to survive off of the promised 40 acres and a mule that never came. Number 3, the GI Bill. Same war, different treatment. When our men came home from World War II, they came back heroes. At least they should have been. The GI Bill was supposed to provide education, housing, and business support for veterans. But guess what? Black soldiers were denied access, turned away from colleges, and redlined out-of-home loans. Meanwhile, white vets built the suburbs, bought homes, and sent their kids to school on the government dime. Number 4, FHA and VA loans, creating the white middle class. From the 1930s to the 1960s, 98% of FHA loans were to white families. That's how white America built their middle class. Black people were locked out through redlining, racial covenants, and flat-out discrimination. We paid taxes into those programs too, but we didn't get the benefits. Number 5, the New Deal, but not for the Negro. Social Security, unemployment insurance, minimum wage protections, all part of Roosevelt's New Deal, right? Except domestic and agricultural workers were excluded. Who were most of those workers? You guessed it, Black people. That was no accident. That was policy. And number 6, modern day corporate welfare. Now check it out. Today we still see it. Billion-dollar corporations getting tax breaks, subsidies, and bailouts. Meanwhile, guess what? They telling y'all Black people to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We never even had the boots. They got the boots, the blueprint, the land, the loan, and the legislation to support it. We paid the highest cost, contributed the most labor, and received the least return. Yet we still wait on our reparations while they've been receiving theirs for centuries. So the next time somebody tries to talk slick about who's really living off the government, remind them, Black folks didn't fail. We were locked out. But here's the thing. We're not victims. We're visionaries. And now that we know the truth, we build smarter, we grow stronger, and we take back what's ours by any legal and economic means necessary. Stay woke, wealthy, outstanding, knowledgeable, and empowered.